Chapter 1358. Gu Mingming was indeed extremely cold, so she didn't argue and directly entered the stone castle. Elvis and Leah followed closely behind. Gregory hesitated for a moment but still followed. After all, if anything happened in the snowstorm, it would be more advantageous for Gu Mingming if he was around. Cole completely didn't care about their attitudes and just acted like he was the owner. The water for the bath is ready. Agu, do you want to take a bath first or eat something first? Gu Mingming sat by the fire to warm her hands. She looked up at Cole. Congratulations on becoming a beast king. Cole smiled with his eyes squinted. He reached out his hands and said, yes, this is something worth congratulating. Agu, look, after becoming a beast king, this broken hand actually grew back. This way, no one will dare to laugh at you for having a handicapped male. Gu Mingming's gaze landed on that pair of hands. Her expression was cold. That's such a pity. I used to feel relieved every time I saw your disgusting broken hand. Cole smiled. Silly Agu, if you want to vent your anger, no matter how many times you break it, I will let you break it. Here, take it. Gu Mingming looked at the hand that Cole was offering to her. She took a step back and leaned into Elvis's arms. She looked at Cole coldly and said, I braved the wind and snow to rush back, not to talk nonsense with you. Tell me, what did you do to Xianxian? Cole shook his head regretfully and said, Agu, you are too impatient. Aren't you clearly telling me that you are worried about Xianxian and that if I want to threaten you, I will use Xianxian? Gu Mingming's face darkened. A trace of beast pressure leaked out. But Cole gestured for her to keep quiet. Your beast pressure can't kill me now, but the two of them don't look very strong. I wonder if they can withstand the beast pressure of 3 beast kings? Gu Mingming frowned. She calmed herself down and glanced at Leah. She didn't say anything else. She promised Leah that she would let him handle any problems. She would not act recklessly again. Only then did Leah give a gratified smile. He gently stroked Gu Mingming's silky hair and said, Mingming, you really did not bathe properly these few days in Moda Mountains. Since the water is ready, you can go upstairs and take a comfortable bath. I'll take care of things here, be good. Gu Mingming nodded and said, let Elvis stay behind to accompany you. Leah shook his head and hugged Gu Mingming's waist. He planted a kiss on her forehead and said, you are my Achilles heel. I can only be at ease when the strongest armor is protecting you. Gu Mingming's eyes widened. But Gu Mingming glanced at Cole. She felt that she had to guard against him. Leah chuckled. Even if Elvis is here, he can't stop the beast pressure, right? That's right, Cole was now a beast king. If he wanted to kill Leah, he just needed to release his beast pressure. Even Elvis wouldn't be able to withstand his beast pressure. Nodding, Gu Mingming kissed Leah's chin and said, then I will go up, be careful. Go. Leah returned a kiss on the top of Gu Mingming's head. Then he watched as she reluctantly followed Elvis up the stairs. Then the smile on Lee's face turned into a deceitful one. King of the Snow Fox clan, now even I can't go against your orders, right? Lee's smile turned into a mask. King of the Snow Fox clan, now even I cannot go against your orders, right? Aside, I know everyone is disgusted with Cole, but this time he came out, yeah, he couldn't do anything bad. Instead, he was prepared to be tortured. So. Chapter 1359. Cole did not deny it and looked at Gu Mingming's back view greedily. He curled his lips and said, my first order as the Fox King is for you to kill Elvis. Can you do it? Leah nodded his head in all seriousness. Then he suddenly laughed and said, you want Elvis and me to kill each other and then force Gu Mingming to break down in pain. When she is mentally weak, you will take advantage of her weakness and use the bewitching spell to control her mind and make her your puppet. Cole seemed to think that this idea was not bad. He nodded and said, yeah, Ninth Brother's idea is to my liking. But Leah waved his hands and said, it's so easy to kill Elvis and me. As long as Agu says the word, Elvis and I will definitely sacrifice our lives, to kill you for her. With just you still dare to spout nonsense in front of me? Cole narrowed his eyes and said threateningly. But Leah looked nonchalant and said, your skills have always been above mine. You don't have to wait until you become the Beast King to kill me. You could have dug out my heart with one claw back then. Aren't you keeping me to enjoy the fun of trampling on me? After so many years of nurturing, you finally revealed your sharp claws and fangs. Are you willing to let me die so easily? Cole suddenly laughed. He pointed his finger and said with a trembling finger, in this world only Ninth Brother understands me the best. You will climb back up from where you fell. I am not surprised that you returned to Sauter. But, now that the Wolf clan has migrated here, if you want to take back this territory, you will definitely have to fight the Fox Clan and Wolf Clan. Not to mention the difference in fighting skills between the Fox Clan and the Wolf Clan, they not only have Elvis the Wolf King but also Gu Mengmeng the Snake King. Your chances of winning are not high. Smart Alec. Cole snorted in disdain and said, solder is a gift from me to Agu. How can I snatch back something that I have already given away? If. Leah narrowed his eyes. Cole said, why do you think those old things in the Elders' Council would listen to Agu obediently and not dare to create any trouble? Do they really think that your highness has such high prestige that you can suppress those old fellows? Leah understood and chuckled. No wonder Oakley's plot was completely crushed by you. So that's why. I see. No, that's not all. Cole walked in front of Leah and placed his newly grown hand on Lee's shoulder. Do you think the people from the 16 tribes are fools? Would you be willing to listen to that lynx Oakley and go against me? Let me tell you, it's not like that. I was the one who bullied them while Oakley was mobilizing them, allowing the stray beasts to snatch their females or harm their children, killing their brothers and parents, forcing them to collude with Oakley. In order to give the 16 tribes to Agu, I spent so much effort to force everyone to kill me. Cole placed both hands on Lee's shoulders and pondered seriously. Tell me, what were you and Elvis doing when I was planning for Agu? Coaxing Agu to play around. In the story passed down by the messenger, the two of you should be called a demon concubine bringing disaster to the country. I am Agu's pillar of support, helping her to expand her territory. Chapter 1360. Cole did not seem to be annoyed and just nodded in agreement. That's right, pet beasts should behave like pet beasts. With your seductive figure, you should serve Agu well and make her happy every day. Because once she gets sick of you one day, I will not hesitate to torture and slaughter you, so you should work hard to win Agu's favor. That is the right thing to do. Leah laughed coldly and looked at Cole with disdain. What status are you using to say such things to me? Don't tell me you are treating yourself as Mengmeng's first partner? Let me remind you, my Mengmeng hates dirty things the most. Cole said, whatever you say. Anyway, Agu likes you now, so I will not kill you. I don't mind if you want to make a fuss. I have heard many worse things. Your level is not enough to provoke me. Leah swayed his tail and sat by the bonfire to warm his hands. If he wanted to hug Mengmeng after she finished her bath, his hands could not be cold. He looked at Cole from the corner of his eyes. Flesh regrown from white bones, a broken hand can grow back. You must have taken the soul of the forest from Xianxuan's body? That's right. Cole admitted without reservation. Leah shook his head in exasperation. You know that Mengmeng hates it the most when you touch Xianxuan, but you still want to step on her most untouchable spot. Good luck to you. I'm afraid that you won't be able to wait until the day Mengmeng hates me. You'll be killed by her first. As they spoke, the sound of a door being pushed open came from upstairs. Leah thought it was Gu Mengmeng coming out after her bath, but he frowned when he looked up. It was not Gu Mengmeng but Miranda, who had walked out from the room on the far left of the corridor on the second floor. Miranda kept walking along the edge of the wall. It was a sign of extreme unease. Her eyes kept trembling as if she was losing focus. She did not know if it was because of her psychological fear or physical weakness, but her entire body was swaying, as if she would collapse at any moment if she did not support herself against the wall. She walked towards Leah blindly. You're back. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting. Leah frowned and did not look at Miranda. Instead, he looked at Cole and said, unless the bait is Mengmeng, beauty traps will not work on me. Besides, Mengmeng has already seen through this trick. Are you still not going to give up? Cole shook his head and clicked his tongue. My ninth brother, you have wronged me. This is not a trap. This is my gift to you. Leah looked at Cole with a faint smile and did not say a word. Cole continued to explain, don't you want to quickly advance to the 5th level and activate the Beast King bloodline? Are you willing to be suppressed by that wolf for the rest of your life? Leah sneered. Don't tell me that Miranda is a wholly nourishing object and that eating her will help me level up. Cole frowned and said with a wretched expression, Ninth brother, you really don't know how to be tender towards women. Eating her will not allow you to level up, but sleeping with her will allow you to level up. Leah took a step back in disgust. Even the smile on his face could not hide his disdain. He said, then I have really let down the Fox King's good intentions. Other than Mengmeng, I can't get hard on other females. Chapter 1361. Because mating with her once is equivalent to fighting to the death with an orc of the same level. As Cole spoke, he walked to Miranda's side and grabbed her hair, pulling her into his arms. He stuck out his tongue and licked along Miranda's neck, stopping at her chin. He did not touch her lips and only said, "Moreover, the children she gives birth to, that is the most delicious nourishment in the beast world. Have you forgotten? Your father was only a third-level beast when he first got her. After imprisoning her for a period of time, he rose to fourth level. Then after a rainy season he rose to fifth level, a rainy season over 60 days, and the gestation period of the snow fox tribe is exactly 52 days. Don't you think it's a coincidence?" Lee's face was pale and his gaze was filled with indescribable depression. He had thought that his father's obsession with Miranda was because he was tricked by Cole's bewitching spell during the mass estrus period. But he did not expect that it was actually like this. Leah narrowed his eyes and said, "So, father did not die of anger because I appeared on her bed, right?" Cole laughed out loud and said, "Of course not. A fifth-level beast will die of anger? Why don't you say that he died of laughter because of you?" "So how exactly did he die?" Leah pressed on. Cole pinched Miranda's chin and said, "Come, tell your lover how his beast father died." Miranda pursed her lips and did not speak. Her eyes were filled with fear and unease. She shook her head at Leah with a pleading look, as if begging him not to ask and not to listen. But, following Cole's low growl, Miranda was pushed to the ground harshly. Like a butterfly with broken wings, she fell to the ground beside Leah in a pathetic manner. Tears streamed down her face and her entire body was trembling. Leah glanced sideways and finally looked Miranda in the eye. He said, "Tell me honestly what you know or else." Leah only glanced at her coldly and Miranda's body completely shrunk as if her soul had been sucked out. After all, no matter how Cole treated her, he could only torture her body. But Leah was someone she had liked since she was young. Even though Leah had never given her a good look, she had been looking forward to it for so many years. Countless torturous days and nights were spent thinking about Lee's face before she clenched her teeth and endured it. Some people could suffocate you just by mentioning his name. Just one look from him could make you tremble in fear. Miranda slowly closed her eyes, turned her face to the side and replied in a trembling voice, "It was me, when we were mating. I gouged out his heart." "And then?" Cole asked with a sly smile. Chapter 1362. The more Miranda spoke, the more agitated she became. In the end she completely lost control. It was as if blood was flowing out of her eyes instead of tears. She grabbed onto Leah tightly, her sharp nails digging into Lee's arms. She widened her eyes and roared with a hideous expression. "He snatched everything from me and all I wanted was you. He didn't give it to me, not give it to me, then I can only kill him, kill. Kill, kill, kill." Cole sat opposite Leah and warmed his hands. He said nonchalantly, "Miranda, didn't I tell you how a female should be liked by others?" The moment Miranda heard Cole's voice, her entire body froze. Then her facial expression started to change in a strange, uncoordinated, stiff and distorted manner. After a full 3 to 5 minutes, Miranda finally managed to control her expression. She was once again a timid and pitiful little white flower. Her voice had also become soft, as though she would be scared to tears if you coughed once. I just want to be with you. Everything I've done is to be with you." "Really?" Leah stood up from beside Miranda. He did not say anything and just walked straight upstairs. Gu Mingming's room was furthest to the right of the second floor. In the same building, no matter how good the soundproofing was, there was still a limit. Even if the two Beast Kings did not intend to eavesdrop, it was hard for them not to hear Miranda shouting so loudly. Leah pushed the door open and looked at Gu Mingming. Then he walked past her and directly stepped into the bathtub. Gu Mingming had been bathing for a long time and the water was already completely cold. Gu Mingming ran over worriedly and leaned against the side of the bathtub. She looked at Leah with her watery eyes, which were so clear that she could see the bottom. Her heart ached for him. "Leah, the water is already cold. Stop soaking in it, you will catch a cold." Lee's entire body was soaked in the water. He ignored Gu Mingming as if he wanted to drown himself. Gu Mingming was worried and wanted to reach out to pull Leah out. But before her fingertips could touch the water, Leah sat up abruptly. He reached out to grab Gu Mingming's wrist but stopped a finger's distance away. After hesitating for a long time, he slowly put his hand down and lowered his head. "The water is cold, don't touch it." "But my man is in cold water." Gu Mingming grabbed onto Lee's dangling wrist and pulled it back. Then she pressed it against her face and said, "A drenched fox is not allowed to get on the bed. Turn around and squeeze the water out, then come out and hug me, alright?" Leah wanted to retract his hand, but he was greedy for the softness and warmth of his fingertips. His eyes were filled with a complicated conflict and struggle. Turning his face away, he said dejectedly, "I finally convinced myself that I can stay by your side even if I'm dirty, but I didn't know that my own race was far worse than I imagined. So disgusting, why am I a snow fox? I'm so disgusted." She wanted to hug Leah but was stopped by Elvis. Elvis circled one arm around Gu Mingming's waist, while the other reached into the bathtub to pull Leah out and throw him to the side. "Change your body and get rid of the water. Xiaoming just finished showering, don't get her wet again." Leah rolled around on the ground in a disheveled manner. Then, seeing how Gu Mingming was about to pounce on him without a care, he instinctively followed Elvis's instructions. Chapter 1363. You're my husband, I'm not disgusting. Gu Mingming pounced into Lee's arms. Leah transformed back into his human form and hugged Gu Mingming, looking at her uneasily with his slanted eyes. "Will you abandon me?" "I won't." Gu Mingming looked at Leah and promised solemnly, "I know I often go back on my words, so you and Elvis call me a little liar, but I will never lie to you guys about this. I, Gu Mingming, only have a deceased husband, no ex-husband." Gu Mingming. Leah hesitated for a moment, but still hugged Gu Mingming tightly. "I know I'm selfish, I clearly have such dirty blood flowing in my body, but I still refuse to let you off. I can do anything really. Beast pets, guardian beasts, even food. I only beg for one thing, don't abandon me. I'm not afraid of pain, I'm not afraid of death, but I'm afraid of not having you. You won't be without me, I will always be by your side." Gu Mingming pressed her face against Lee's chest and said softly, "Humans can't choose their own birth. We can't decide who our parents are, what kind of weird relatives we have. This is our original sin, but you can't be blamed. After all, you don't have the right to reject. But those evildoers are not you. You didn't imprison Miranda, you didn't force her to mate, you didn't even eat her children like a lunatic. You're not the one who did those things, why do you have to blame yourself?" Leah shook his head. "I'm not blaming myself, I'm feeling inferior. You're like the sun, your whole body is glowing while I'm getting more and more unbearable." "Leah, do you still remember me telling you that you're my first love?" Gu Mingming's words were like a warm breeze intoxicating him. Leah nodded. "I remember you said that first love is the most unforgettable and beautiful feeling. We're each other's first love." Lee's words were unintentional, but Elvis, who was sitting quietly at the side, heard it. His heart sank. The word first love was like a heavy boulder smashing down on him. The last time he accompanied Gu Mingming to meet the beast deity, he met Snake from another world. He seemed to have become Xiaoming's first love in that world. This world had Leah, that world had Snake, but only he, her first partner, would never become her first love. Gu Mingming's attention was all on Leah, so she did not care about Elvis's feelings. She just laid in Lee's arms gently and said, "In our world there's a saying, perhaps every man has had two women like this before, at least two. If you marry a red rose, over time, the red will become a smear of mosquito blood on the wall, while the white will still be the bright moonlight in front of the bed. If you marry a white rose, the white will be a grain of rice stuck on your clothes, while the red will be a cinnabar mole on your heart." Chapter 1364. Leah knew that Gu Mingming was comforting him. He loved her so much and spent all his thoughts on her. How could he not understand the heartache in her eyes? With her heartache, Leah felt that he would be punished by the heavens if he did not pull himself together. Probing carefully, Leah confirmed for the last time. "You really don't despise my tribe for being so dirty and my beast father for being so deranged?" Gu Mingming poked Lee's chest with a smile. "The deranged one is your beast father, not you. Why should I make you jealous? Moreover, who said that the snow fox tribe is dirty? In my eyes, you are the cleanest and prettiest vixen." Leah finally heaved a sigh of relief. He hugged Gu Mingming's waist and asked, "How pretty?" Gu Mingming's mood improved when she saw Leah smiling. She tapped her chin and deliberated for a while before saying, A smile that can topple a city, another smile that can topple a country, a beauty that is unparalleled in this world. Just one look at you makes me yearn for you. I can't forget you and I think of you crazily." Leah kissed Gu Mingming's little face. "I can't forget you and I think of you crazily. Looks like you are really pretty." "Of course, don't you know whose husband he is?" Gu Mingming held Lee's handsome face and kissed him. "My Leah, you still look better when you smile. That gloomy look doesn't suit you. I feel so aggrieved looking at you. If you like it, I will smile for you every day in the future." Leah replied. Gu Mingming nodded. Then she stood up. "All right, since everything is settled internally, shouldn't we go and settle the external debts?" Leah also stood up. He held Gu Mingming's little hand. As long as you don't despise me, then everything that Cole has painstakingly arranged will be useless in front of me. Gu Mingming nodded. Then she reached her other hand out to Elvis. My cinnabar mole in my heart, accompany me to bully others. Cinnabar mole in her heart, Elvis chuckled. Gu Mingming had dispelled all the depression he felt because of the word, first love. Holding Gu Mingming's little hand, he said, let me do the rough work like fighting, don't rush forward, understand? Gu Mingming nodded and smiled. I know, Leah will crush him with his brain and Elvis will crush him with his physical strength. I'll just sit here and watch the show. Be good. Elvis and Leah exchanged glances and had a tacit understanding of the situation they were going to face when they went downstairs. Although they did not believe that Gu Mingming would sit there and watch the show, but, with the two of them around, she wouldn't be at a disadvantage. When he went downstairs, Miranda was hugging her knees as she curled up in a corner. She looked aggrieved as she glanced at Leah from the corner of her eyes. Leah turned a blind eye to Miranda and only guarded Gu Mingming carefully. He then took out a stone stool and covered it with beast skin for Gu Mingming to sit on. He bent one knee and half-squatted to accommodate Gu Mingming's height. The melons are gone now, but I remember that you love to eat xueling fruit. After I chase away the annoying flies, hubby will help you find some, alright? Gu Mingming had eaten the xueling fruit before when she was pregnant. Elvis moved his neck left and right as a warm-up. I'm not Xiaomeng. I won't be threatened. Cole nodded and said, that's true, how would the little wolf cub that I trained have such a gentle heart like Agu? But, doesn't Agu have something to ask me? Is it really alright for you to chase me away like this? After all, I used the soul of the forest to activate my Beast King bloodline. Chapter 1366. Leah waved his tail nonchalantly. Cole, if you use the same trick for a long time, you will become immune to it. Xianxia is already a second-level orc now. He is an adult and no longer a cub that Gu Ming needs to protect. Even if a male beast of this age dies, it is just natural selection. How long do you think you can hold Gu Ming hostage with just Xianxia? Cole nodded in agreement. One Xianxia is definitely not enough. Then, what if we add another Canwell? Alright, out of Agu's litter of cubs, Jianghu is the one I like the most. His eyes are so similar to Agu's, making me feel pity for him. I can't help but want to press him under my body and dote on him to comfort my longing for Agu. Gu Mingming jumped up from the stool. Lee's large tail swayed gently behind him, before sweeping past Gu Mingming's arm and landing in her arms. Leah was telling Gu Mingming, calm down, he is using psychological tactics to disturb you. Gu Mingming took a few deep breaths and forced herself to calm down. Then she hugged Lee's tail and sat back on the stone stool. With Elvis and Leah between them, she and Cole could not see each other. Cole's hearing was extremely good and he could clearly hear the sound of Gu Mingming standing up in anger. It was a pity that the two eyesores in front of him stopped him, or else he would be able to see that furious little face appear in front of him. Even if it was anger and hatred, it was so beautiful when her eyes were focused on him. Slightly regretful, Cole said, Agu, I came all the way here to help you fix your house, take care of your sons and even found supplements for Leah to level up. Aren't you going to come out and thank me? Gu Mingming did not say a word. She just sat behind Leah and watched how Leah and Elvis would deal with Cole. Elvis took a step forward, his fangs and claws already flashing. Cole waved his hand and said, if we were to fight, I'm afraid Solder would be destroyed. I don't mind, but Agu's favorite Sandy and her family are still here. The newly migrated wolves and your eldest son, Huda, are still here. Is it alright if they all die? Agu will cry, right? Elvis sneered. You talk a lot of nonsense. As he spoke, Elvis had already attacked Cole with his claw. Cole was right. He could not kill him because Xianxuan's life was tied to Cole's. Although he did not care about Xianxuan's life, Gu Mingming did. Elvis would never do anything that would upset Gu Mingming. However, killing was not the only way to torture people. Elvis's moves were very sharp and left no room for maneuver. Since Cole was also a Beast King now, it would not be easy to kill him. He could only remain invincible if he gave it his all. And Elvis and Lee's motive was to obtain his soul of the forest. As long as they could snatch Cole's soul of the forest, they would no longer have to look for the spirit of the rocky cliffs. Furthermore, they also wanted to see if Cole could grow a new one after losing the soul of the forest and having his limbs broken. The two Beast Kings did not unleash their beast pressure and were holding kitchen knives to chop the electric wires, killing each other with sparks and lightning. Meanwhile, Leah was waving his large furry tail and calmly washing Gu Mingming's feet. Gu Mingming looked up at the battle between Elvis and Cole. Elvis's attacks were all killer moves, but Cole was like a loach. He did not even fight Elvis head-on. Instead, he dodged and dodged whenever he could. He was clearly exhausting Elvis's energy. Chapter 1368. Leah washed Gu Mingming's little feet and wiped them dry with a beast's skin. He then took out a new pair of boots for her to wear before saying, "All right, sit down obediently." Gu Mingming nodded. Leah then waved his large tail and stood in front of Gu Mingming, saying softly, "The mighty Fox King did not come to Sauder just to compete with the Wolf Clan, right?" Cole chuckled and pulled back. Elvis stopped attacking at the same time and also took a step back. He returned to Gu Mingming's side and stood beside Leah, blocking Gu Mingming completely, not allowing Cole to see a single bit of her. Elvis and Cole's earlier trembling was mostly to test each other. Even though Leah had washed Gu Mingming's feet in the middle, he still had a clear grasp of the general situation. At the level of a beast king, the difference between races was already negligible. It was impossible for Elvis to suppress Cole alone, but Elvis was not the only beast king on their side, so they still had the right to speak. Cole stood with his hands behind his back and said, "Leah, move aside." Lee's body went limp and he knelt to the side. He struggled to stand up, but he could not muster any strength at all. Gu Mingming remembered this scene. When the mark on the back of her neck had just changed, Wabi was also like this. Gu Mingming jumped up from the stool to support Leah. She glanced sideways at Cole and said coldly, "Cole, kneel down." The moment Gu Mingming said that, Cole indeed knelt down. This made Elvis, who had intended to attack Cole, pause. He stood back at his original spot without saying a word. Cole was also a little surprised. He wanted to stand up, but he could not muster any strength. Gu Mingming helped Leah up and let him sit on the little stone stool that she was originally on. Then she stood at the side and gently hugged Lee's shoulders, letting him lean into her arms. Elvis stood behind Gu Mingming, finally allowing Gu Mingming and Cole to look at each other. Gu Mingming laughed coldly and said, "Do you understand now? Even if you are a beast king, you are nothing in front of me." Of course. Cole seemed to especially admire Gu Mingming's darkened look. His face was filled with unconcealable joy and admiration. "Agu is the highest existence in this world. I, Cole, am just a speck of dust under your feet." Gu Mingming completely ignored Cole's disgusting fawning and only stared at him coldly. "What did you do to my son?" Cole shook his head and said, "The young lords are all in a very safe place under my protection." Gu Mingming sneered. "Why does my son need your protection? Who do you think you are?" Cole gazed deeply at Gu Mingming and said gently, "Gu, have you never thought about how big of an impact Elvis would have on the beast world when he used the heart of the desert to activate the Beast King bloodline?" Gu Mingming frowned and did not reply. "The love of the sky and spirit of the rocky cliffs that have yet to appear are protected by the beast god's enchantment. No one other than you can obtain them. The tear of the beast god and the heart of the desert were in the hands of the two beast kings, so no one dared to covet them. The key of the beast king had yet to appear, so naturally no one dared to hope for it. Then the remaining two treasures." Gu Mingming paused and her heart turned cold. Cole understood that Gu Mingming had figured out the crux of the matter. He continued, "I know that you once said, an innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth. I feel that it is most suitable to be used on Qixian." Digression. Why was Cole so intimidated by Gu Mingming? The reason was very simple. Gu Mingming had dug out Bai An's heart. Let's put it this way. If you killed a tiger with your bare hands and hung the tiger's heart on your neck, I can guarantee that no stray dog in your neighborhood would dare to come near you. Dan Fan who met your eyes would all run away. It was the same reason. Chapter 1369. He was just a second-level orc, but he had two treasures that could make the entire beast world go crazy. That was like throwing a fat piece of meat into the wolf's den. Gu Mingming frowned. She was really too careless. As a mother, why didn't she consider what kind of trouble Qixian would land himself in because of her decision? Cole continued. "So, I took the soul of the forest from Qichuan's glabella just to divert the attention from Qixian. After all, killing a wandering fox king like me is much more justifiable than killing the messenger of the beast deity and the wolf king's son. Not only would I obtain the treasure that could activate the beast king bloodline, I wouldn't have to worry about the messenger and the wolf king settling the score. I am doing this for little Xian's sake. How can you be angry at me?" Leah leaned into Gu Mingming's arms. Although he was in a state where he could not exert any strength, he did not look pathetic at all. Instead, he exuded a seductive charm. In contrast, Cole, who was forced to kneel on the ground by Gu Mingming, looked even more pathetic. Leah spoke softly. The Fox King's silver tongue can really distort right and wrong. You took the soul of the forest from Xianxuan's glabella to protect him? Ah, forget it. Just like what Gu Mingming said, we are all vixens. You can't play strange stories from a Chinese studio in front of me. Leah wanted to stand up but failed. He still could not exert any strength, so he could only sit there and hold Gu Mingming's hand gently, indicating to her not to be affected by Cole. Gu Mingming smiled and held Lee's hand back. Only then did Leah feel at ease. You obtained the soul of the forest and activated the Beast King bloodline. Isn't this announcing to the beast world that as long as you snatch that pearl from Qixin, you can activate the Beast King bloodline just like you? Are you protecting him or pushing him into the teeth of the storm? Cole rubbed his nose and laughed helplessly. I really can't explain myself. Raising his head, Cole looked straight into Gu Mingming's eyes and said, I don't mind if Agu hates me or hates me, but I will not be the scapegoat. I did not snatch the soul of the forest, it was little Xian who schemed against me and forced it on me. Gu Mingming was so angry that she laughed. She looked at Cole coldly and said, Are you telling me that it was Qixin who cried and begged you to accept the soul of the forest to activate the Beast King bloodline and then went against me? Cole nodded in acknowledgement. Gu Mingming let out a long sigh and said, Can you be more reliable when you're spouting nonsense? Cole sighed. Qixin took the opportunity when I was not around to instigate Kanwu to lead his men to take over the territory of the stray beasts camp. Do you know about this? Gu Mingming did not respond and just stared coldly at Cole. Cole could tell from Gu Mingming's expression that she knew. Thus, she continued, I went to see Qixin after I returned, hoping that he would hand over the territory of the stray beast camp. After all, he is your precious son. Even if I don't give him face, I have to give him face. I have to be polite before resorting to force. But little Xian told me that there was a fruit that you liked to eat in the stray beasts camp. So he was determined to get that territory and would not return it. But in order to keep the peace, he was willing to give me the soul of the forest to help me activate the Beast King bloodline. That way, I would not have to flee at the mere sight of you and not dare to go near you. This was too tempting for me, so I agreed. Otherwise, I wonder what will happen to a person who stands at the peak and falls down? All right, I'll return it. Cole endured the excruciating pain in his chest and maintained his sinister smile. Gu Mingming retracted her hand from Cole's chest and turned to walk to Lee's side. She looked back at Cole and said, Also, I don't like it when someone acts like a beast king in front of my man. Don't forget you the king are under my feet. Cole smiled and said, So what if I do? So what if I don't? Leah said, If there is, please tell me. If not, then my little female needs to rest, please leave. Cole asked, What if I don't leave? Chapter 1372. Cole's expression froze as if something had suddenly cleared up in his mind. That's right, why did Qixin beat around the bush? He gave him the soul of the forest and purposely provoked him to come to Sauter to look for Gu Mingming. Was it just to make Gu Mingming hate him? No, that fellow would never do such a senseless thing. Could it be? Cole stood up and dashed into the snowstorm without looking back. He swaggered off. Gu Mingming looked at Leah in confusion. Could it be that Qixin really schemed against him? Would it spoil Qixuan's plans if we let him go like this? Should I let him stay for a little longer to buy some time for Qixin? Leah shook his head and chuckled. He looked at the snowstorm and said, Gu, although I don't want to admit it, Cole has really taught Qixin well. Among the 4 children, he is probably the one you don't need to worry about the least. What do you mean? Gu Mingming didn't understand. Leah waved his tail and returned to Gu Mingming's side. Don't worry, Qixin will be fine. And after this incident, Cole will probably be busy with his own matters and won't have the time to find trouble with you. You mean he will turn around to deal with Qixin? Leah nodded. It was Qixin who caught Cole's tail and forced him to turn around to deal with him. Just based on this trick, I dare to conclude that Qixin is definitely not someone who can be manipulated by others. He has the ruthlessness of the wolf tribe and the cunning of the fox tribe. He has also learned many things from you that he never had in the beast world. Even if he can't win Cole can't do anything to him. Your concern for him is his life-saving charm. Cole will never kill him in order to restrain you. This is his undefeatable bargaining chip. I guess that Cole has not only captured Qixin but also Kanwu and Jiaoyu. He must be trying to use those 2 brothers to counter Qixin. Leah seemed to have thought of an interesting situation. He chuckled and continued. But Cole seems to have forgotten something important. Qixin was groomed by him and will not lose to anyone when it comes to heartlessness. It's impossible to deal with Qixin in the same way he dealt with you. Moreover, that fellow Jianghu did not give it away for nothing. Cole did not manage to catch Huda because Jianghu hid Huda in advance. That means... Gu Mingming looked at Li's meaningful gaze and tried to follow his train of thought. Then she said, Xian and the other three brothers had long communicated with each other and knew that this day would come. Jianghu purposely allowed himself to be captured. The four of them purposely cooperated to lure him into the trap. Leah nodded. Smart. So you purposely insisted on staying in the Moda Mountains for a month, just to keep Cole here for a month? Gu Mingming tilted her head and asked. Chapter 1373. So what is he trying to do? Gu Mingming felt as if her three rascals were about to head to Syria with nail clippers. She said worriedly, 2 second-level beasts and 1 first-level beast, the 3 of them are not enough to defeat Cole. Why don't we go and help him? Leah shook his head and patted Gu Mingming's shoulder lightly. He smiled. If Xian wanted us to help, he would have told us the last time he came. But, before he left, he told me that he was worried that there would be too many people in St. Nazir and there would not be enough prey for everyone, so he prepared a portion of food for the mother beast in Zacharias. But seeing how well prepared you all are, there should not be any need for it. Just in case, I will tell you that if there is not enough food, you can go to Zacharias to get more. Gu Mingming blinked. What's wrong with that sentence? Doesn't it just sound like a normal instruction? Leah chuckled. That's what I thought at first too. But now that I think about it, Elvis can't wait to move all the prey in the forest back to the stone castle. Even a family of more than 10 people like Sandy would have enough food to last an entire winter. We only have 3 people in our family. Would there be a situation where there is not enough food and we have to go to Zacharias to get more? Gu Mingming glanced at Elvis's food storage room. Winter was already half over, but not even a fifth of the food had been consumed. She shook her head. I don't think so. Leah nodded. So, what Xian meant was to tell me that if anything happens in Sodor, you can head to Zacharias. There is food prepared for you there and it can help you survive this winter safely. But, what could happen that would be so serious that you have to migrate in the middle of winter? Gu Mingming was silent for a moment. Her gaze landed on Miranda. The collective estrus of the snow foxes. Leah nodded again. But Xian is a wolf. How would he know about the secret of the snow foxes going into estrus? How would he even know the exact time? Gu Mingming bit her lower lip. Cool. Leah pinched Gu Mingming's little nose. Smart. Then. So what does that rascal want? Gu Mingming was confused. Leah said, gather all the information we have. Cole wouldn't mention the snow foxes going into estrus to Xian for no reason, so sending Miranda over was probably one of his plans. As for his motive, just like what he said, he wanted to make use of the snow foxes going into estrus to make me lose control and have sex with Miranda. This way I will find that mating with her can increase my battle value. I want to quickly become stronger so that I can better protect you. Humans are always lazy. Once there is an easy way to become stronger, they can't help but sink into it. And at that time, you will definitely think that I am dirty and abandon me. In this way, Cole can enjoy my misery while tormenting you, and at the same time, achieve some of his hidden motives. Gu Mingming gritted her teeth and looked at Miranda with an increasingly cold gaze. Tugging at Li's arm, he said, when Gregory returns, let him throw this Miranda onto the Moda Mountains first. I don't want to see her. Chapter 1374. Gu Mingming took 2 deep breaths to calm herself down. She looked at Leah, waiting for him to continue his analysis. Leah played with Gu Mingming's fingers as he said nonchalantly, Xian must have found out about this through some means, so he set up a trap. It's just that Xuanhuan's trap has not been fully developed, so I don't know what his exact plans are. Based on the current information, I can only deduce that he wants to use the 1-month gap between Cole waiting for you in Sodor to do something, and I feel that Gregory's return during winter to guard Sodor should have something to do with Xian. Gu Mingming held her head and shook her head, saying, do you think Xian has entered the rebellious phase? How dare he tie his legs to the gas tank? Leah hugged Gu Mingming and comforted her softly, don't worry too much. Thinking about how Xian could use the soul of the forest to bewitch Cole and lure him to Sodor for a month, you can tell that this child is not simple. If he has any ulterior motives, even I will fall into his trap. Moreover, Jianghu is working with him at the side. Just like what you said, when the brothers are of one heart, their strength can cut through metal. The worst outcome would be them falling into Cole's hands, but Cole would not dare to kill them. Gu Mingming sighed and said, we can only wait now. Cole promised to return the 3 brothers to me after winter ends, if he dares to go back on his words. Leah knew that Gu Mingming could not say kill him. It was not that she could not bear to part with Cole, but she could not bear to part with Xianxia. Leah chuckled and said, I am more interested in the 10 greatest tortures of the Qing dynasty you mentioned just now. Why don't you tell me about it? Let me see if there are any that can be modified to be used on Cole. Gu Mingming was worried about her 3 sons and was filled with resentment towards Cole. Hence, she described the 10 greatest tortures of the Qing dynasty vividly through gritted teeth. Miranda, who was standing at the side, was so shocked that her eyes almost popped out. She did not dare to make a sound even though her wrist was in excruciating pain. Miranda started to feel terrified for the first time when she saw Leah, whom she thought was perfect, cooperating with Gu Mingming's words with a smile and even looking eager to try. The perfect male in her heart was far more sinister and vicious than the old man who had imprisoned her. Those torturing methods that she had never seen or heard of before, she could imagine the scene just by listening. No wonder Leah did not save her at that time. Compared to what Gu Mingming was saying, her days as a prisoner were too blissful. That night, Gregory returned to the stone castle with 2 bags of xueling fruits. As Gu Mingming ate the xueling fruits, she asked Gregory if he had said anything to Xianxia in private before winter. Gregory thought that Gu Mingming was asking about Cole and did not dare to beat around the bush. He directly told Gu Mingming that Xianxia had told him about Burke and that protecting her silently was also a form of love. Even if he could not get anything in return, he could at least do something for her. It was better than waiting day after day in vain and wasting his life waiting for a miracle that would never happen. Gu Mingming and Leah exchanged glances and thought to themselves that it was indeed Xuanhuan's doing for Gregory to guard solder during winter. This son really could not be underestimated. Chapter 1375. Unexpectedly, Miranda did not pester Leah anymore. Instead, she eagerly expressed her willingness to go to Mota Mountains without waiting for winter to end. She said that she was a snow fox and could endure a few days' journey. Although Gu Mingming did not know that she had frightened Miranda with her vivid description of the 10 greatest tortures of the Qing dynasty because she was venting her hatred towards Cole, Gu Mingming was glad that Miranda did not pester Leah anymore. Hence, she took an empty wine barrel and even kindly covered it with a few layers of beast skin. She let Miranda crawl into the wine barrel and Gregory carried her back to Mota Mountains. Gu Mingming looked at Miranda, who was standing in the wine barrel with a face full of anxiety. She sighed and said, no matter how capable Cole is, he cannot fly to the sky. So you are relatively free and safe on Mota Mountains. Although the weather there is rather bad, as long as you treat your partners well, they will not let you suffer. But there is one thing you must remember. The birds are the most loyal followers of the beast deity. If you dare to create any trouble on Mota Mountains, I will not let you off. Miranda was already scared out of her wits by Gu Mingming. She shook her head and said, I will definitely live a peaceful life on Mota Mountains. I will not leave the mountains until I die. Great messenger, please don't worry. Gu Mingming nodded and said, that's for the best. Miranda nodded vigorously and said, I will listen to you obediently. I will definitely listen to you. Gu Mingming glanced at Miranda's broken wrist and said, don't blame me for being ruthless. But I really don't like others touching my males. Miranda instinctively put her hands behind her back and nodded obediently. I know. Great Messenger has already shown me mercy and is exceptionally merciful. That's right, she didn't even use any moves like grooming, cooking, skinning, carving, or death by 1,000 cuts to deal with her. She only stepped on her wrist and that was already very merciful. Gu Mingming did not understand Miranda's sudden gratitude, but she did not have the time to find out. She just watched as Gregory left. Winter passed quietly as Gu Mingming looked forward to it day after day. When the snow sealing the windows finally shattered, Gu Mingming's heart finally brightened up. Elvis carried Gu Mingming out of the stone castle and headed straight for the deity altar. There was a chair on the altar, which was Gu Mingming's exclusive seat. It symbolized her divine authority and could not be violated. This was the first hunt after winter since Elvis became the Wolf King. No matter what, he could not be careless. So even though Gu Mingming was concerned about the children, she did not show it on her face. She just followed the rules and looked at the females in the tribe one by one, asking them how many cubs they had this winter. In the end, Lacey from the Snow Fox tribe gave birth to 9 cubs and became the female with the most cubs for 2 consecutive years. Gu Mingming conferred the title of the first beauty of the tribe. Although there were many females in the Sauter tribe now, they were all sincerely convinced by this result. After all, who could be blamed if your stomach was not as good as hers? During the night campfire party, the 16 tribes came out on top. During the small rainy season, the Wolf tribe came out on top. Now that Lacey relied on her stomach to fight for the Snow Fox tribe, the three parties were now in a one-on-one situation. So, the next round of hunting undoubtedly became a competition. Chapter 1376. The females sat around the deity altar as usual, while Leah stayed by Gu Mingming's side, gentle and focused, as if he could not see anything else other than Gu Mingming. Sauter was different from Saint Nazir. Other than the witch doctor, there was no need to hunt here. The elders also did not participate in the first hunt, partly because they were old, and partly because they were proud of their nobility, unwilling to do those barbaric jobs. So the elders stood on the first level, closest to Gu Mingming. He looked up at Leah as if he had something to say but did not dare to. Thinking about it, Gu Mingming's display of power over Miranda last year was enough, so they did not dare to spout nonsense in front of Gu Mingming now. Elder Eugene, why do you keep looking at my Leah like that? Gu Mingming expressed her displeasure. If he had something to say, he might as well say it directly. At least she could retort if he said it directly. He kept glancing at her as if she owed him money and he did not dare to ask for it. How annoying. Elder Eugene cleared his throat and said, "The first hunt concerns the offerings offered to the beast deity. It is an important ceremony for Sauter to express its loyalty to the beast deity, so I think that the Ninth Highness should participate in the hunt. With the Ninth Highness around, the Snow Fox clan will definitely be motivated and perform better." Oh? Gu Mingming chuckled and interrupted Eugene's words. She looked at him coldly and said, "You are afraid that Elvis will lead the Wolf clan in the first hunt again, so you want to use Leah as a mascot to boost morale, so that the Snow Fox clan can compete with the Wolf clan, right?" Elder Eugene's face froze. He felt a little guilty after his thoughts were exposed. After all, he had already offended Gu Mingming once because of Miranda. If it was not necessary, he really did not want to have a conflict with Gu Mingming. But helplessly, his name was called out. However, Elder Eugene did not know that Gu Mingming only knew the faces of the elders, but could not remember most of their names. This Elder Eugene's performance was too outstanding during the Miranda incident, so she remembered his name. So all the elders were looking at Leah, but Gu Mingming only called out his name. Gu Mingming sneered and leaned lazily into Lee's arms, saying, "But doesn't your Fox clan have a beast king? If you want to raise our morale, why don't you go look for your beast king? Ever since I came to Sauter, didn't all of you just follow your beast king's instructions and brush me off? Don't tell me you can't find him now." When the elders heard this, their faces immediately turned green. They had already confirmed that the Fox clan had a beast king during the winter. But it was hard to tell whether the beast king was happy or angry. He had always been going against the messenger of the beast deity, but he did not allow others to betray her or defy her. He would kill anyone who angered her. This made the group of elders very helpless and they did not know what to do to comply with the beast king's wishes. Now that Gu Mingming mentioned this matter, she must be angry, right? If she were to get angry, the wrath of the beast king might descend upon them. Thinking of this, the few old fellows trembled as they lowered their bodies and knelt together. The females of the Snow Fox clan were just as afraid as the elders. Their faces were pale and they lowered their heads guiltily. Their fingertips and hair were trembling slightly. Chapter 1377. Previously in Saint Nazir, she had impregnated Maya, but Gu Mingming had immediately noticed that there was something wrong with Maya's body scent. Moreover, Saint Nazir only had Leah as a snow fox. Once Maya gave birth, Gu Mingming would immediately notice that something was wrong. But Sauter was different. There were only snow foxes here, and the purity of the fox seductive fragrance was so high when they were in heat. Gu Mingming could not smell anything from the females, and it would be normal for them to give birth to snow foxes in the future. Gu Mingming could not tell which child was Cole's. Damn it, what was Cole trying to do? Gu Mingming's brain worked furiously, but her face remained expressionless. She just smiled faintly. "Don't panic, don't be afraid. Although I am the messenger of the beast deity, I do not have the right to stop you from following your beast king. Following the beast king is the innate nature of the beast. I will not do something so inhumane and force you to not get close to Cole. It's just that. I can't be fickle, eating from the boss's grain and sleeping in the West's bed. Listening to Cole's arrangements, you want to make use of my man to help you gain face. You guys have taken all the advantages in this world, you can't be so greedy, you will be punished by the heavens." Agu is right. A familiar voice came from the crowd. Gu Mingming looked over and saw Cole returning with Qixin, Kanwu and Jiayu. The four of them were in a strange state. They did not seem to be at each other's throats. Instead, they looked like an elder who had just returned from an outing with his 3 children. Gu Mingming instinctively sat up straight, her gaze fixed on her three sons. Only after confirming that they were not injured or crippled did the suffocating feeling in her chest dissipate. Greetings to the mighty Beast King. The elders of the Snow Fox clan were already kneeling on the ground. Now even the females were kneeling down, paying their respects to Cole. Cole ignored them. He just stood in front of the deity altar and made a gesture of invitation. Young master, please return to your mother's side. Don't let her worry. Qixin and his brothers also ignored Cole. They just leaped onto the deity altar and walked to Gu Mingming's side. They held her hands. Mother, we are back. Gu Mingming had a stomach full of questions but did not say a single word. She just nodded and smiled. Cole turned around and directly knelt in front of everyone. He bowed to Gu Mingming and said, "Your subordinate Cole leads the Snow Fox clan to pay his respects to the great messenger." Gu Mingming glanced sideways, wondering what Cole was up to again. Qixin patted Gu Mingming's arm, gesturing with his eyes for her to accept Cole's worship. Gu Mingming did not understand and turned to look at Leah. Leah gave Gu Mingming a smiling look, indicating for her to trust Qixin. Hence, Gu Mingming unwillingly replied, "Yeah." Chapter 1378. We will obey Lord Beast King's orders. The Snow Fox clan is loyal to Lord Messenger. Heaven and earth can testify. The continuous shouts of oaths were quite inspiring, as if everyone knew something. Only Gu Mingming, who was being pledged loyalty to, was dumbfounded, not knowing what was happening. Lord Fox King, since the elders of the Snow Fox clan are so concerned about this first hunt, why don't you join in the fun and see if you can boost their morale and defeat our wolf clan? Qixin stood beside Gu Mingming, smiling like an innocent child. But his words made the few old foxes from the Snow Fox clan turn green. No, no. The old foxes objected one after another. What kind of joke was this? Elvis and the rest had already walked for half a day and the distance between them had already widened. The two Beast Kings were equally powerful, but the Snow Fox clan was not as powerful as the Wolf clan, so it was impossible for them to overtake the Wolf clan. If they let Cole go now and the Wolf clan won, wouldn't that mean that the Snow Fox clan was not a match for the Wolf clan? Even with the Beast King they still lost. In the future they would definitely be suppressed by the wolves. They had to design a situation where they could win for sure before sending the Beast King up. They definitely could not let Cole lose to Elvis in his first battle. Qixin blinked his eyes and tilted his head in confusion. Didn't you just say to let my daddy Leah raise the morale? How could a mere ninth highness be as inspiring as a Beast King? I'm doing this for your own good. Why don't you agree? The elders were speechless. He couldn't possibly say that pushing Leah out to raise the morale of the people was just a pretense and that the real motive was to push all the blame to him when they lost, right? It would be best if he could intensify the family conflict between Leah and Elvis, causing Leah to be dissatisfied with Elvis. This way he would be more reliant on the power of the Snow Fox clan and recognize his own identity. He would not put his family first in everything but place the emphasis on his race first. Because only when his race was strong could he have a dominant position in his family. Moreover, he had to make Leah unhappy with Elvis first so that he could incite him to plot something in the future to get rid of Elvis and replace him. The first partner of the messenger of the beast deity should have been from the Snow Fox clan. This was his true motive, but he couldn't say it out loud. The elders looked at each other, speechless. Qixin looked at Gu Mingming. Gu Mingming placed one hand on the back of the chair and rested her chin on her palm. She looked at Qixin and said, "Since the Fox King is here, wouldn't it be a waste if we don't show off our skills? Although the werewolves have set off for a while now, they definitely have the advantage in terms of the overall number of prey. It would be unfair to let you join now." That's right, the elder said. Gu Mingming glanced at him from the corner of her eyes and he immediately kept quiet, not daring to say another word. Gu Mingming then continued, "For the sake of fairness, let's not compete for the most this year but the biggest? In the end, the person who provides the sacrifice to the beast deity will be the winner. Isn't this fair?" Cole placed his right hand on his left chest and bowed towards Gu Mingming like a European knight swearing his loyalty. Then he smiled and said, "I don't care if it's fair or not. As long as it's something that Master wants me to do, I will do it. Lord, your beast yin yang is the hunt. This as is your hunting beast Li, is Wu. Ui beast." Chapter 1379. Your subordinate will obey. Cole bowed and turned to leave, heading towards the direction where the males had set off for the hunt. The elders were so anxious that they looked at Leah and asked, "Your ninth highness, this?" Leah waved his tail and said, "Since the mighty Fox King is here, how can I, a mere ninth highness, be in charge of the tribe's matters? All the elders can just follow the Fox King." Sigh. The elders paced around and finally whispered to each other before following Cole's footsteps towards the direction of the hunt. Gu Mingming yawned and said, "There will not be any results until night time. Females, go back to your own homes and the results will naturally be revealed during the night campfire party." Yes. None of the females dared to act rashly in front of Gu Mingming and naturally followed whatever she said. Leah carried Gu Mingming back to the stone castle and the three little ones exchanged glances before following behind him obediently. The moment they entered the house, Gu Mingming immediately turned around and placed her hands on her hips, activating the mode of facing your mother when you fail to advance in the examinations. Seeing this, Jianghu gave Kanwu a push and he immediately knelt down without a word. Pinching his ears with both hands he said, "Mother, I know I was wrong." Before Gu Mingming could question him, Kanwu's kneeling made Gu Mingming speechless. Gu Mingming poked Kanwu's head and said, "A man's knees are worth gold, who allowed you to kneel? Get up." Kanwu raised his head and said innocently, "The last time I saw Bode teach a father beast, he said that if a female gets angry she will not be angry if he kneels down and admits his mistake." Gu Mingming facepalmed. This was the lousy trick Bode taught Elvis when she chased Leah and Elvis out of the cave and forbade them from returning home. The four little ones were indeed present at that time, but it had been more than 2 years. These four were still buns then. Jesuke, why did he keep remembering these useless things instead of important matters? Mother, it's like this. This time, Qixin was the mastermind and I was an accomplice. Kanwu did not know the details and only followed because he did not want Qixin and I to take the risk alone. Since his fault was the lightest, we decided to push him out to take the beating. Mother, just hit him as you see fit. Once he calms down, Qixin and I will explain to you. Come, please do it. Gu Mingming looked at Jianghu and laughed in exasperation at this child. Kanwu did the least wrong, so why is he the one getting beaten up? Because I can take a beating. Kanwu explained to himself with an inexplicable sense of pride on his face. Jianghu smiled apologetically and wrapped his arms around Gu Mingming's arm, acting coquettishly. It's precisely because he made the smallest mistake that Mother didn't hit him too hard. Moreover, Qixin and I are afraid of pain. So Kanwu isn't afraid of pain? Actually, as long as the three of them were safe, the anger in Gu Mingming's heart would dissipate by half. He had never thought of hitting his children. What's more, his 3 sons were already independent people. Other people's children would have left their parents and wandered the world when they were their age. He could do whatever he wanted and his parents could no longer control him. Their child had done something dangerous outside, and when she came back she had to appease her emotions. This was already very sensible. Chapter 1380. Gu Mingming tugged at Kanwu and said, "Stand up properly." Kanwu smiled sheepishly and stood up straight. He smiled apologetically and asked, "Mum, if you don't hit me, does that mean you won't be angry? You won't cry, right?" Gu Mingming suddenly recalled Leah saying that she had an ultimate weapon and all the males in the family were scared to death. She didn't understand it then, but now it dawned on her. Her ultimate weapon was her tears? Right, there was really such a thing. As a mother, she used her tears to force her son into a cowardly dog. "Why are you crying? Do I look like someone who likes to cry so much?" Gu Mingming pinched Kanwu's ears and said, "You rascal, better listen carefully. You are all wolves, do you understand? You should have pride and integrity. If I see you kneeling down again, I will break your legs." Kanwu nodded seriously before asking again, "Left leg or right leg?" "Both legs." Gu Mingming was furious. Who did this brat take after? At times like this, shouldn't she just reply, "I got it, yes, 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 yes"? Would that do? She still dared to ask if it was left leg or right leg. This was simply asking for a beating. Leah hugged Gu Mingming's waist and said, "You said it so harshly, but I wonder who it was." On the Moda Mountains, the moment she heard that the children were in Cole's hands, she was so scared that she cried and threw a tantrum. She even jumped off the cliff and threatened to kill herself, forcing Gregory to bring her back to Solder to save her sons. If not for Gregory's quick reflexes, I'm afraid he wouldn't have the chance to break their legs in the future. Lee's casual words made the 3 Qixin brothers tremble with fear. Kanwu was a man of action. He directly snatched the person from Lee's arms and turned her left and right to take a closer look. He was so anxious that his brows were tightly knitted together. "Mum, are you injured? Does it hurt anywhere?" You call me a tiger and rash every day. Now I finally know who I took after." Gu Mingming was dizzy from being turned around by Kanwu. She raised her hand and knocked his head. What are you saying? I am your mother. I know, how can I not know you? Kanwu sighed helplessly. Then he was suddenly shocked. He held Gu Mingming's head and looked at it carefully. Oh no, I don't know if she hurt her brain. Little bastard. You're the one who broke your head. Gu Mingming felt like crying but no tears would come out. She slapped Kanwu's hand away and said, Your father protected me well and Gregory caught us with one hand. I did not fall at all. Kanwu then heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Gu Mingming worriedly and asked, Really? Gu Mingming exclaimed, Ah, really? Kanwu hesitated for a moment, then stretched out 3 fingers and asked, How many are these? Gu Mingming held her forehead and said lifelessly, 3. Kanwu was finally relieved. He hugged Gu Mingming and said, Thank the heavens you really didn't break anything. My mother, my dear mother, you can't do such a reckless thing in the future. How old are you? How could they not consider the consequences of their actions? Tell me, how can we work hard in the future with peace of mind? We were so worried. We didn't even see and Mum was gone. Chapter 1381. Oh mummy, I know I was wrong, really. Kanwu pretended to be in pain as he begged for mercy. His exaggerated manner made Gu Mingming forget why she was angry in the first place. Jianghu and Xianxia exchanged glances and finally felt at ease. They heaved a sigh of relief. Mummy, sorry for making you worry about us. Gu Mingming sighed and hugged Jianghu and Xianxia before saying, Alright, tell me, why did you guys get involved with coal? Mummy, do you know about the 7 treasures? Xianxia asked calmly. Gu Mingming nodded. I know. Xianxia sorted out his words before replying. Cole knows too. Gu Mingming did not understand. It was not strange for Cole to know about the 7 treasures. She already knew about it. Xianxia continued. Not only does he know, he also believes that once the 7 treasures are gathered, they can open the doors of time and space. Gu Mingming bit her lower lip and nodded. This is also true. Xuanhuan's face darkened. He was not surprised, but it seemed like his last bit of hope had been shattered. Xianxia sighed without a trace. According to my observations and conjectures, Cole's goal is to open the doors of time and space and lead the orcs to transmigrate to that dimension. Gu Mingming looked at Xianxia in shock. She instinctively covered her mouth. Is he crazy? If the orcs appear in that world, it will definitely cause panic. And the orcs will definitely be the ones to suffer in the end. Xianxia shook his head. Cole doesn't think so. He studied the previous messenger of the beast deity in you. He realized that although both of you have smart minds, you do not have strong physiques. He thinks that he is smart enough to fight against you. So as long as there are enough orcs, he is confident that he can conquer that world. The orcs are restricted by a hierarchy. So even if they reach that world, no one will dare to defy him. Then he will be the deity that rules that world. Gu Mingming facepalmed. She did not know if she should curse out loud. Leah stood behind Gu Mingming. He gently rubbed her temples. What did you think of? Why do you have such an expression? Gu Mingming sighed and said, I just want to ask, why do you aliens always want to occupy Earth when our Earth is spinning and rolling around on its own? Let me tell you, aliens who are tens of thousands of years ahead of you in terms of intelligence brought destructive weapons to attack Earth, but they were still beaten back by the superheroes of the Avengers. As for you who only have sharp claws and fangs, if you go there, hey, you will either be captured into a research institute to be dissected and used as an experimental specimen, or locked up in a zoo to be exhibited. A god that rules over the world. You must be crazy. Leah, Xianxia and Jianghu exchanged a look before asking softly, Is there absolutely no chance of winning? Gu Mingming nodded and said, I guarantee that if Cole appears on Earth with his orc army, they will all be wiped out in less than an hour. Game over. Chapter 1382. Although the orcs all had international faces, their common language was Chinese. This might have something to do with the fact that the previous messenger of the beast deity was a Chinese, so Leah could not understand Gu Mingming's English. But this did not prevent him from understanding Gu Mingming's expressions and actions, so he could more or less understand what she was trying to express. His hands gently slid down and landed on Gu Mingming's shoulders, using just the right amount of strength. As he needed, he said, Since it's a dead end, let him be. It's a clean death over there and saves us the trouble. Gu Mingming shook her head and said, You don't know how advanced the technology in our world is and how crazy they are. Once they discover Cole's secret, They may use all methods to find a way to reverse the doors of time and space. By then, I'm afraid it won't be Cole occupying the Earth, but the Earth will attack the beast world and develop this place into their second home. By then, Gu Mingming could not continue and just furrowed her brows. It was as if she could see orc corpses strewn all over the place, and the forests and rivers here would be replaced by concrete skyscrapers. The current blue sky and white clouds would eventually be tainted by haze, and males and females 10 meters away and humans and beasts 100 meters away. I often scold Cole as a pervert, saying that he is mentally twisted, dark and filthy, but I have never told you that humans are even more twisted, uglier and filthier than Cole. And that kind of human heart can be found everywhere in the world we live in. To achieve their goals, they can do things even crazier than Cole. And I definitely do not wish for our current home to become their target one day. Leah did not care what would become of the beast world. He only knew that Gu Mingming was worried and frowning. Gently stroking Gu Mingming's brows, Leah smiled and said, "Don't worry, I will not let anyone destroy the home you love. So, we just have to stop Cole, right?" Gu Mingming sighed and nodded, saying, "We cannot let Cole succeed, definitely not." "Alright, I will definitely not let him succeed," Leah promised. Leah patted Gu Mingming lightly, then looked at Xianxian. "Continue. You discovered Cole's secret, and then?" Xianxian looked at Gu Mingming, then continued, "Among the 7 treasures, the tear of the beast deity, kiss of the ocean, soul of the forest and heart of the desert have already appeared. The remaining love of the sky and spirit of the rocky cliffs were protected by the beast deity's boundary, so you could only take them. Cole knew that you were going to look for the love of the sky during the dry season, so he planned to lure you to take the spirit of the rocky cliffs next year. When these 2 items appear in the world, all that's left is the Beast King's key." Gu Mingming instinctively covered her stomach, putting on a defensive posture. Xianxian chuckled and shook his head in exasperation. "Cole also knows that after what happened to me, you will definitely protect your child better. The chances of him snatching a child from 2 Beast King families is basically 0, so he plans to give birth to a child with the bloodline of a Beast King to be the key of the Beast King. This winter, the Snow Fox clan's collective estrus is the opportunity he chose." Chapter 1383. At the mention of Cole just now, all the females lowered their heads guiltily, which meant that all of them could have had an affair with Cole during the winter. Lexi alone had given birth to 9 little foxes this year. Including the other females, there would be a total of 23 snow fox cubs born this year. Damn it, did she have to kill all 23 cubs just to stop Cole? Then what was the difference between her and Cole? Wasn't they both going crazy for their own goals? Xianxian tugged at Gu Mingming's arm. "Mom, don't worry. Let me finish." Gu Mingming looked up at Xianxian, waiting for him to continue. Xianxian said, "Jianghu and I spent a month to set up a trap, then used the medicinal bug that Cole had used on Daddy Leo on him." "Medicinal bug? You mean the one that causes people to lose their minds?" Gu Mingming asked in confusion. Xianxian nodded. Daddy Leah had taught Jianghu the method to activate the medicinal bug. "And I know how to use the fox seductive fragrance." Gu Mingming looked at Xianxian in shock. The fox seductive fragrance was something from the snow fox tribe? How could a wolf like Xianxian know how to use it? Moreover, if your 3-year-old son told you that he knew how to use the aphrodisiac, you would also be dumbfounded. Xianxian looked at Gu Mingming's speechless expression and smiled. "Mom, don't think too much. I just used the fox seductive fragrance and bewitching spell to make Cole forget." "You know bewitching spells too?" Gu Mingming was even more shocked. Xianxian lowered his head and chuckled. "You and Cole are probably the 2 best at using bewitching spells in this world. Both of you have used it in front of me before. If you still can't learn it, then you are really too stupid." Gu Mingming's heart skipped a beat. She pursed her lips and looked at Xianxian guiltily. "You know that I used bewitching spells on you?" Xianxian nodded honestly. "I know." "Then?" Gu Mingming's entire body shrank. She didn't dare to look at Xianxian in the eyes. Xianxian squatted down and placed his hand on Gu Mingming's knee. "It was useful at the start. I really forgot about Cole. But to me at that time, Cole had taken up most of my memories. After forgetting about him, my memory was filled with a huge blank space and I couldn't understand many things no matter how hard I tried. So, slowly, the bewitching spell lost its effect. But even so, there was one thing that I remembered very clearly. Mom, when you were crying, my heart felt like it was being squeezed by sharp claws. The pain was so painful that it was engraved in my heart and I would never forget it. So, I swear, I will never do anything to make you cry again. So don't worry, even though I remember everything, I will not return to Cole's side. Really? Gu Mingming's eyes turned red. Qi Xin frowned and said, don't cry. If you cry, I will immediately go and look for Cole. Gu Mingming rubbed her eyes hard and shook her head. I'm not crying, I'm not crying. Qi Xin then smiled and gave Gu Mingming a big hug. So Mom, don't worry. I'm very clear about what I am doing now. I am not staying by your side because of your bewitching spell. It is because I am your son and you are my mother. I can't bear to see you cry, so I am staying. Chapter 1384. After calming Gu Mingming down, Qi Xin continued, to prevent a situation like mine from happening again, we only tampered with a small portion of Cole's memories. We did not delete or change too much of it. Gu Mingming asked, what, did you change? Qi Xin smiled and squinted his eyes. Mum, can I not say it? Gu Mingming shook her head resolutely. I know this is very annoying and will make you feel that I am over-monitoring you. But sorry, all mothers in this world are the same. Qi Xin lowered his head and smiled. It's not that I feel there is a problem with you over-monitoring me. The problem is that I am afraid that if I say it, your partners will kill me. Gu Mingming facepalmed. You really did something to cause trouble. It's alright, just say it. If your beast father and Leah want to kill you, I will cry. Leah sighed in exasperation. That's why I am not willing to tell you what your ultimate weapon is. Gu Mingming looked up at Leah helplessly. But I can't just watch you and Elvis kill my son, right? Leah poked Gu Mingming's little head. Biased. Gu Mingming did not deny it. She just squinted her eyes and smiled. Qi Xin cleared his throat. Since that's the case, I will tell you the truth. Say it. Gu Mingming sat down and held Qixuan's hand. She was all ears. Qi Xin pursed his lips and chuckled. A magnified Cole's possessiveness towards you. I even hinted to him that he loves you. Cough, 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 cough. Gu Mingming choked on Qixuan's words. She looked at him with a confused expression. Leah also raised his eyebrows. He did not say anything else and was about to strike. Qi Xin hurriedly hugged Gu Mingming. Mom, let me finish first. Gu Mingming held on to Leah. She took 2 deep breaths to calm herself down. She said in a lifeless tone, say it. In Cole's original plan, he wanted to obtain you so that he could use you to open the doors of time and space. To achieve this, he first had to assimilate you. He had to pull you into his mindset and behavior. Only then would you feel that what he was doing was right. Only then would you help him complete what he wanted to do. Qi Xin finished in one breath. Then he took another deep breath. From the moment he poisoned me and held me hostage, his motive was not to threaten you, but to force you to abandon me. This proves that you and he are the same kind of person. As long as someone hinders you, you can eliminate them even if they are your family. Just like how he treated Daddy Leah and the First Highness of the Snow Fox clan. But no matter how much you've been hindered because of me, you've never given up on me. You'd rather compromise yourself over and over again, but you've never thought of taking the simplest path of killing me to end everything. Gu down him down. Xian down Qixuan's. Mingming's face. I, and you're tuning into the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.